What's up, guys? I'm Jeebs if you're new to the channel, and this is an update on my possible purchase of the new 2020 GR Supra. I was going to go through and configure it, but for some reason the configurator is not working or loading right now. But really there's not much to configure yet because the car is so new. This is exactly how I would get it. I would get it in the 3.0 Premium. I would not get the base. I think the rear brakes, the rear discs are slightly smaller on the 3.0 base model, and also the infotainment system is not quite as nice as on the Premium. You might be asking, why would I not get a Launch Edition? I don't think the Launch Edition is worth the extra $2,000. I think it's kind of hyped up. There's not anything that truly differentiates it. The wheels are the same wheels, they're just painted black. The mirrors are wrapped. The interior is red. The red interior is cool. I think down the road they are going to be able to give that option. Hopefully they really expand the options of the interior and it's not always just black. But I also want to give you some insight into pricing. I do have a connection back in Pennsylvania who owns a Toyota dealership. And he has a red Launch Edition coming in. Now, before he had this Launch Edition, he had at the BMW dealership he owns, he had a 1M come in, and it was in the orange color. I don't remember the exact name for that, but he held on to it in his showroom for 4 years and ended up selling it for $90,000 just recently. So he might end up doing that with his Launch Edition he came in. If he decides not to, he said he'd work a deal out with me. He said if I don't care about having a Launch Edition, I could just order one through him and he'd give it to me at dealer invoice. So he's not really worried about marking them up or anything like that. Out here in Arizona, the guy who I was connected with has a black Launch Edition coming in. If you follow TJ Hunt or the Stradman, you saw that they both got the black Launch Editions. Black is just such a boring color to me, but from a content standpoint, from where those two are at in the YouTube world, they're easily going to make up. It doesn't really matter what color it is. They're going to wrap it, and plus that being first to market with the content they're going to create, they're going to easily make up the cost of this car in maybe 10, 15, 20 videos. So, plus all the sponsorships with parts and things like that, I mean, they could make their cost up for the car in no time. But me personally, being a smaller channel, and this is not the only way that I make money, I'm not going to pay markup on this, and having a connection that's willing to give it to me at dealer invoice. The guy, so let me that was a little tangent. The guy who was quoting me on a Supra out here, he was like, well, what we can do for you is $83,000 out the door, tax included. Like, tax included was a deal. I don't know if they sold it yet or what the deal is. I think $10,000 seems to be what people are paying for it. To me, that's ridiculous. For someone like the Stradman or TJ Hunt, totally understand, because being first to market, they're going to make that money up like that. So I would probably get a Launch Edition, and I'd get it in the Nitro Yellow. That, to me, is the most unique color that they offer. Red is always a good color with the Supra. Any color it's made in, I think it looks great. I think silver is going to be a cool color, and that especially if you put black wheels on it will look really good. But yellow, the Nitro Yellow, that's the color that I like the most. I think it's the color that you're kind of taking a chance on. But for me, the #1 decider is going to be seeing this car in person. The other car that I'm looking at, and I've talked about this a million times, is a 2018 BMW M2 with a manual transmission in Long Beach Blue. That, to me, still seems like a more fun car to drive and have. I think the exhaust sounds a little bit better having a manual transmission, rear wheel drive. It's a coupe. Trunk space, I think, is a little bit better in the M2. But it's not as efficient as the Supra. The Supra has a lot more hype around it, so the views on YouTube would be better. I've done a poll. I think 52% of you wanted to see me get the Supra. I still need to see one in person, though. That's what it comes down to me, is seeing one in person. The infotainment system in the Supra has a better sound system. The infotainment system, other than that, though, is basically the same. It's not the new BMW iDrive system. The little screen over to the right, that's all BMW, and the iDrive and the center console, and then the main where the tachometer is, that's more of Toyota's design. So I'm really excited to see the car. I love it. I'm not a hater of the Supra. People talk about oh, it's a BMW, whatever. I could care less about that. I think it's going to be a great driver's car, regardless if it has a manual transmission or not. Me personally, just having a secondary car, I want it to be a manual transmission. Really, my daily driver should have an automatic transmission for how much driving I do, but it's paid off, and I have a good following because of the Focus ST. So that's where I stand right now. I have the ability to get one at dealer invoice. I'm not going to be paying markup on it, but I still have yet to see one. So whenever the dealership out in Arizona gets one in, I am going to go over there and check it out. But again, they're like, yeah, $83,000 out the door. That was their big offer to me, which is not going to fly. So yeah, if I do get it, nitro yellow in the premium trim. And what would I do with it? I'd probably do wheels. Wheels, maybe suspension, depending on how it looked after the wheels. One thing I like that Toyota did is the front splitter, the side arrow, and the rear diffuser. I like that is just a matte plastic. One of the mistakes I think Honda made with the Type R is doing like a carbon fiber look-alike. I think if you just made it a matte plastic, or maybe, yeah, it should always be plastic. I think that's just the best way to go, because you're not pretending and trying to be something else. And then if it's carbon fiber, that just adds a ton of cost. And that is later where the TRD parts will come in with the Supra. I'm interested to see all of the options that they end up offering for this through TRD. The aftermarket is obviously going to be crazy. But then seeing special editions, maybe a TRD Supra or GR Supra TRD, or however they want to say it, I think that's going to be really cool to see, whatever they come out with. Also interesting that this car, being as heavy as it is, I think right around 3,400 pounds, is still more efficient than the BRZ or the GT86. That's really surprising to me. I'm sure like Jason Fensky from Engineering Explained could explain that much better than I could, because I have no idea. But that's really interesting to me. You'd think something as light as that car with as little horsepower as it has, it'd have like 35 miles per gallon. But it doesn't. From pictures, from what I can see, I think this is a beautiful car. I think it's a great driver's car. It's a luxury car. It has the BMW interior. It has great efficiency. I think it'd be great for road trips. It has nice trunk space, or hatch space, and the aftermarket is going to be insane. It has a straight six engine, so it's not going to tear itself apart. It's going to be smooth. It's already underrated in horsepower, that's for sure. Just the dynos that show it having 339 horsepower at the wheels tells everyone that it has probably the same power as the BMW Z4, 340i trim. So I think this is an excellent car. I'm tired of hearing all the hate on it. I'm happy that the Supra, the NSX, and the GTR are all back and alive and well. So that, I just think that's really cool, and I think it's awesome that Toyota made this affordable to the masses. So I think great job by Toyota, and if you want to keep seeing things like this happen, what we have to do is buy new cars. You can't be buying them secondhand and all that stuff. If you want to see these manufacturers continue to do this, we have to give them a reason by purchasing them new. So yeah, excited to continue to watch content on the new Supra and on YouTube, and then hopefully I join that. If I see it in person, it's no good. Most likely going to be going the M2 route. I'll make a separate video on my thoughts on the C8 Corvette, but that is another option maybe in the near future. So thank you for joining in. Interested to hear your comments on the new Supra. Are you a Supra hater? Are you getting a Supra? Or are you just going to sit back and watch some content the others create? If you're new to the channel, I drop videos every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so hit the notification bell. That way you're notified right away when I do that. The reason I do it at that time, 9 p.m. East Coast, 6 p.m., so everyone should be, well, most people are off work. The hard workers are still grinding at 6 p.m. But for the most part, that should be a good time for everyone to watch my videos in the evening as you're relaxing. So yeah, if you liked the video, drop a like on it, and we'll see you next time.